Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, those human beings out there with your lovely smiling faces, what is up, Kenji's World? Kenji's World, we are back for another daily chat. Question for you guys that I have, / questions I'm thinking out loud, or things that are coming through my mind right now, is this nature of human beings to want to control so many things. We want to control outcome, we want to control this. We have such an aversion to just letting the unknown do its thing. I was having a big discussion today with some friends that I'll go into business ventures with, but also the conversation, I think, about faith, right? What do you have faith in? And I love this quote that was in this book I'm reading that was talking about faithlessness is not an absence of faith, but a faith in nothing, right? What at this moment in our lives do we have faith in, right? I have faith in God, that God and the divine is far wiser with a far greater plan than I, and if I can jump onto that wave, ride the wave, ride the God wave, or the wave that the divine is trying to speak through me, 'tis usually the best wave. Not saying I can do it great every time, but the human existence comes in, and the doubts, worries, concerns that cloud my judgment. And I wanted to talk about it because I mentioned my morning and nighttime routines, right? Meditation and movement, etc. I'll talk about meditation, but fundamentally, all these other elements are serving the same or a similar function for me to get out of my head and out of my own way, right? With my meditation, I sit and I can see I'm trying to just sort out things with my back and this, and I want to try and clear my mind and be here because I notice my mind, I wake up and I'm thinking of so many things that I want to do, I need to do, or blah, 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 blah. Just like that. The brain is at blah, 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 blah mode. I need to bring it back. But the thing is, it's like, am I bringing it back so I can control it? Like, I need to be the master of my own mind, so it's not just deviating everywhere. Because when it starts deviating, who knows and what kind of influences you're allowing into your own mind. But it's also like, how much can I be there to rein it in, to staying on the straight and narrow? But how much do I need to just let go? Not of my mind, but of this flow that is going inside of me, right? This force, this life force that already currently exists, and how much do I fight it? In terms of, and in the Kung Fu terms, how much do I hold my breath? How much am I just not letting my breath do its thing? And the breath is so deeply intertwined into every single practice, the meditation, the movement, the writing. The writing, physical writing, what I love the most is that it requires me to slow down, because when I'm writing so quick, it's messy, it's gross. My writing is just not nice. So I appreciate it that I have to slow down with my writing, but it also brings me back. Slows me down, The pace of nature is a lot different to the pace of man and man's world. So go back to nature, touch base every so often, remind yourself, where am I, what's going on, What is this pace, a natural pace, and how far away am I from it, right? What am I trying to grab at? Where is the mind going to? We're watching people with anxiety and depression and just always looking down. People always looking down, deep in thought, not wanting to look up too much. Because the funny thing is, when you look up and you look at the world, you realize, oh, a simple world sits in front of me. Yet, when you come here, it's these practices, to come to the moment, be here in the now. It's great. Please come back home. Come back to this moment. But maybe there's a misconception sometimes that when you come back to the moment, it's just bliss, love, and light, and wonderment, the moment, and presence, and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, I believe all these people that do practice it understand. But no, when you come back to the moment, usually you'll come back, you have to face reality. You have to face the truth. The truth of my existence. What's going on? I'm here as a human body, trying to make money whilst my soul is still trying to live a life and experience. Do I want ultimate freedom, or do I still need restrictions, or do I still need boundaries? A boundless spirit in a boundary-driven body and physical environment. What a wonderful and beautiful paradox that is. The divine has given us this crazy equation to live with inside. And how much do we try and control? Do we observe the world and think, how much of life does man try to control and rule, as above, so below in our own worlds? How do we try and control and rule, How am I trying to control outcome or control how to be? How many times have you thought how I need to be in society? I see, people that are free and are great at their self-expression, but always, and the majority of people that we see always, or are there many people, myself included, that go about and we think of how we need to be in a societal self instead of just a simple, authentic self? How do we need to be? What am I trying to, put out to the world? That I'm a put together man, that I've got things sorted, hey, how are you, sir? Or just let people be, don't talk to strangers, when realistically I'm just a kid on the inside. I want to stare at people, what's going on with you? I find you so fascinating. Or I just want to engage. And people, how, unless they're in their small circles, how averse they are to engaging and opening your heart. So the question is, how much do you feel that you try and control your life, control your birth, control outcome? And what are our practices that we can learn to let go? Have more faith. Have more faith. And that's why I love the God-centered consciousness, right? I know there's books that are make money. To make money, you gotta have a money-centered consciousness, or you gotta have this consciousness, or you're trying to manifest all these sort of things. Whereas if I can have a God-centered consciousness and I'm trying to stay in that simple place where I can relinquish all those things unknown to me to the Lord, and I say, I will give you those things because I believe you will sort, and you can sort it far better than I could even try to attempt to sort. Plus, I would say that everything you give onto God to do what God needs to do, that's probably out of your control anyway. That you have no control out of those things. What's the Serenity Prayer? May I know what I can control, what I can't control, and the wisdom to know the difference. And yeah, how do you sit with it? How do you sit with yourself? How do we accept ourselves? I'm learning so much right now of how to accept myself. Not in the hard times, but in the good times. Even that. Sometimes there may be an anxiety in the good times. I know it sounds ironic, but the anxiety in the good times, because maybe there's a part of you that's afraid that when this good time ends, the good time ends and the bad times are going to come back. So how could I try and make sure the good time goes on forever, or at least longer than now? And then in the good time, you're overthinking the whole point or the problem, or you're missing the whole experience, right? How much do we try to control? How much are we, seeking, like I think I spoke of yesterday, of how far my mind might run into the future? Making plans is great. We are creatures of time and understanding time. So humans can understand, more consecutive sequence of events, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, eons. So we can understand these concepts. So we make plans, which is great. Making plans is good. I never used to be the greatest planner, but now I've realized, what a wonderful opportunity to try and set yourself some ideals and some goals or places you want to try and get to, right? I know some hardcore champions and athletes are just full set on this place they want to go, and I think that's great. Like the focus, like I said, the focus and the art of focus is so important. Of what are you going to focus on, of what can you do in this life right here, right now, right? So goals are great, but how much of it also is when you don't meet those goals, or that thing didn't happen? How good are we? I was going to say great, but I said good. How good are we at accepting life as it is, not as we would like it to be? How good am I at accepting life? How can I really roll with the God wave? How good can I trust and have faith and change my relationship with pain? This is going to be another conversation. I won't go too deep into it, but we avoid pain, yet we know that that is probably the wound we need to inquire and really understand if we are going to allow our pain, our fears and worries to be the one to take the wheel and steer, right? Is that what is going to drive? Yes, I did just quote a song. Who's in charge? Who's running the show? How much am I trying to control the life? Whereas I'm still making a choice in relinquishing a certain level of control and having faith. This is why prayer is so important. May all these things that I don't know, I don't understand, equations or outcomes I have no control over, may it be, delivered in the best outcome that God knows best, that the Lord, you know best how to deliver for me, for my growth, and for those around me. And having faith that God gives a shit, and wants you to grow, wants you to be the best that you need to be, and that every single thing, every step of the way. When I used to work with children, there was never a moment when there is not an opportunity of learning for a child. In the good times, at lunchtime, during toilet training, during activities, between activities, feeling a bit bored, or going from here to here to here, that how many opportunities of learning there are, and you realize it's just constant. The opportunities for learning are constant. And somewhere along the way, we may have thought that as an adult, we are now in a different realm, that learning is only here, and now we have these segregated blocks. And how work, home, this sort of itemization of life. And we start to put things, a compartmentalization, should I say, of life. And spheres of learning, and what is learning, what is good, what is bad, starts to get compartmentalized and goes into idea shelves. And we start to look at them as an idea instead of everything. For me, anyway, every little bit is the gift from God. Every little gift is an opportunity to assess, to reassess, an opportunity to grow, and an opportunity to apply yourself, an opportunity to be yourself, an opportunity to experience love, to give love, to share, to not be so selfish, to not be so self-absorbed, have an opportunity to be of service. Instead of thinking about yourself, why don't you think about what the other person needs for a change? What does that feel like? And if you're always thinking of others, maybe take a moment to see what you need. If we're looking at through that lens, I feel I can let go a little bit better. So this is a conversation of faith, trust, and kind of ties into this human condition of control. And what do we believe in? Where is our faith? Faithlessness is not a lack of faith, but a faith in nothing. So you can choose to have faith in nothing or faith in something greater. I'm sure everybody's tapped into it somewhere in their life where they've felt it, a faith in something greater, something else is going on here. It's not just human beings in meat sacks walking around trying to make money and move materials and such. We're not just operating on the mundane, that the human being operates on such a multi-diverse plane of existences and realities, and we have a gift that we have the capacity to access this. So somehow that came from, how do we try to control? How do we let go? What are our practices? What can we do? Move about, I need to shake it about. That's why my movement exercise is important. My vocal exercises are important. For me, my performances and doing performances are really important because it teaches me how I'm trying to hold on to outcome as well in my performances. So I really love that. What's your craft? Do you have a craft? Do you need a craft? Even painters, any craft, it doesn't matter. But I'm sure any craft, people go in with a perfectionist mind, and as they get better, people start to let go and have more faith, have more trust in the outcome, and just enjoy the process. The mistakes, the nuances, maybe we start to see truly as the beautiful things in life, the things that we're going to treasure the most. So simple, all I wanted to share today. Things I'm going through, Kenji's world. I hope you all doing well. Peace, peace, peace. And I'll see you again for another live tomorrow. Like, subscribe, all those things, and come join me on my channel. Peace.